Hello people, I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer, and as you've probably seen, Star Wars Battlefront has had a lot of drama surrounding it lately, because it just released, and so everyone's asking the question, does it have enough content? Does the Season Pass have too much content? Does the Season Pass cost too much money? What's going on? And so, yeah, as a huge Star Wars fan, and someone that's been waiting for Battlefront for 10 years, well, for this game for 10 years, I decided to give my 2 cents on it. So, first off, does the Season Pass have more content than the actual main game? Because a lot of people claim it does. First off, let's go over what the Season Pass have. It has 4 epic expansion packs featuring brand new content set across the Star Wars galaxy, including over 20 new pieces of galactic tech, including weapons, vehicles, and star cards for both Rebels and Imperials. So that's just 20 pieces of a combination of weapons, star cards, and all that stuff. So yeah, and then 4 more heroes and villains for you to fight as or against, so probably like 2 heroes and 2 villains. 16 additional multiplayer maps featuring new locations, 4 exciting new game modes, and 2-week early access to each expansion pack. So that's just like if you were to buy the DLC separately, you'd have to wait 2 weeks. Then if you were to buy the Season Pass, okay, that's a lot of stuff packed into a Season Pass. Let's see what the main game has. The main game has 12 multiplayer maps. So right there, we already see that Season Pass does have more maps. Is that weird? No, not really. Battlefield 4 had 10 vanilla maps and then had 25 DLC maps. So that's kind of standard. And then it has 6 heroes, which is more heroes than the Season Pass, 11 weapons, which is assumed to be more weapons than in the Season Pass, because that's 20 pieces of DLC. That's not all weapons, some of it's star cards, probably majority of it's star cards, because there are way more star cards in the game than there are weapons, so we'll see how that goes. But it seems like there's more weapons in the main game than there are in the Season Pass. There's 9 game modes in the main game, and there are 4 in the Season Pass, so that's already more content in Battlefront than there is in the Battlefront Season Pass. So anyone who tells you otherwise is completely lying. But yeah, so, and then also, is this game is the Season Pass too much money? Of course it is. It's ridiculous. $50 Season Pass, that's stupid. No game should have a Season Pass that much, but every game does. Every AAA modern shooter has a $50 Season Pass. Look at Battlefield 4, look at Black Ops 3. If you are a AAA multiplayer shooter nowadays, you have a $50 Season Pass. Why are people complaining about it now? Because it's Star Wars. You may be Call of Duty, you may be the biggest shooter of all time, but you are not Star Wars, so you are not going to attract the attention that Star Wars does. So Star Wars having a $50 Season Pass draws attention. It is ridiculous and stupid. That's $50. It should not be. I don't like it, but at least they're packing a lot of content into it, and I'm happy about that. And I'm also more optimistic about this purely because I got completely ripped off with the Arkham Knight Season Pass, because the Arkham Knight Season Pass was $40. I was able to get it for only $35, but still, I got no content until like the end of October for Arkham Knight Season Pass, and I paid $35 for it. And part of the big thing with the Season Pass was the fact that I'm supposed to get DLC early. I didn't get it for months later. The game's been out since June, so a Season Pass, even though it is $50, if it actually gives me content, I'm kind of happy. The Arkham Knight Season Pass has made me appreciate other Season Passes a lot more because of how crappy it was. But anyways, yeah, again, I don't like that it's $50, but it is standard nowadays. So also another thing is, does this game have enough content? 12 multiplayer maps, 6 heroes, 11 weapons, and 9 game modes. First things I want to say is the game modes. There are 4 main game modes in this game. That's pretty big, because if you look at other games, they only have like 1 or 2 main game modes. For instance, for Battlefield 4, it's Conquest, Large, and Rush that are the main game modes. And then for Call of Duty, there's maybe 2, you couldn't say maybe 3 main game modes, which are Team Deathmatch, Domination. You could maybe throw Kill Confirmed in there, but it's definitely just mainly Team Deathmatch and Domination, because those are like the 2 main Call of Duty game modes. For Battlefront, the main game modes are Walker Assault, Supremacy, Hero versus Villains, and Drop Zone. And I truly mean that, because those are all game modes that a ton of people play. Like, there are tons of people in there. Whenever I can always find a game in there, and some people maybe be like, well, you can always find a game in there, how's that mean it's main game mode? I'm playing on PC. If you try to do that with Black Ops 3, you can only get in like Team Deathmatch and Domination, and that's pretty much it. You're lucky to get in another game mode. but because the PC community is so much smaller than the console community. But in Battlefront, I'm able to get into all those 4 modes. I've actually gotten in more modes than that, but these are the 4 main modes that you can tell that majority of people are going to be playing over time as this game ages. But yeah, so I'd say that's pretty big. Also, you have co-op in this game, which is another thing that adds content to it. You have 8 battles, which are you can either go against AI or go against a friend with also AI. You have 4 survival maps, which is, as they say, there are survival maps. You can do co-op with a friend here and try to take them on with a friend. You have 5 training maps, which is just sort of get you familiar with the maps. The indoor training map is awesome, though. Like the others they're all right. They're training maps. The indoor one is awesome. You can do those with a friend as well. No single player campaign. Is that bad? Not really. I mean, some people may, like, a lot of people are freaking out about it. The reason I'm not is because I'm a sort of veteran when it comes to Battlefront, because I've been playing these games forever, and they haven't really had the most engrossing single players. Battlefront 2's had a really cool concept, but the gameplay was literally multiplayer with a story set to it. That's all it was. It's sort of like, in Batman Arkham Knight, how you have the Red Hood and Harley Quinn story packs, and those are pretty much challenge maps with a story set to them. They're like not really actual story packs, they're just challenge maps with a story set to them. That's the way that Battlefront 2's campaign was. It was literally like playing instant action, but with a story. Battlefront 1 didn't even have a story. They all had instant action, which is where you could play against bots, but they didn't have a story. They were multiplayer only, but now people are freaking out because they're like, it's a Star Wars game without a single player. What's going on? So yeah, I just don't get why people are getting mad about this game not having a single player DLC when the previous 2 games, only one of them had an actual single player, and it wasn't all that in-depth. It was literally a multiplayer map with a different objective and a story set to it. That's all the campaign was for Battlefront 2. But anyways, yeah, does this game have enough content in it? That's purely up to you. That's obviously all just opinion based. For me, it does. I am loving this game so much right now. Of course, I had 17 hours on the beta, which had 2 maps and 2 game modes, and I mainly played 1 map and 1 game mode. So to have all this now, I am like just freaking out. I'm living in Star Wars right now. I have 18 hours on the game. It's been so long since I've had this much fun in a game, and I love this game so much right now. And I don't think, if you are interested in the game, I don't think you should let this principle of DLC get in the way, because there are so many other games that do the same thing. Yes, if we could all just not buy the game and stop DLC from being like this, that'd be great. But guess what? We can't, because if I don't buy the game and EA doesn't care, they're just going to be like, hey, we have a million other people that are just like Star Wars, and so they buy the game. And so me not buying it doesn't change anything. All it changes is the fact that I wouldn't be having any fun at all. To where me buying the game, I'm having fun. Basically, what my advice would be to you is, if you like the beta, it's literally just more of that. If you didn't like the beta, don't get it. If you didn't play the beta, Origin does have a great game guarantee, which is where you can play the game for like the first 24 hours. Well, within 24 hours, and if you don't like it, you can return it. Yeah, but I'm just loving this game right now, and I don't think any Star Wars fan that should let this season pass get in the way of them experiencing Star Wars. It is one of the best movie adaptations to games that I've ever played. It really feels like you're in the Star Wars universe. Anyways, overall, I'd say season passes are stupid. It's retarded. It should not be $50. Why? That's almost enough to buy another copy of Battlefront. That's ridiculous. But guess what? Every other game does it too, and a lot of people are being hypocritical about that, because they're like, well, I'm playing Black Ops 3 and having tons of fun with this, or I'm playing Battlefield 4 and having fun with this, but, you know, Battlefront's Season Pass is evil. It's like, well, your game has a $50 Season Pass too, so I don't get why you're complaining about both. Why you're only complaining about one. You should be complaining about both. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the Season Pass. Please let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of what you guys think of the Season Pass and everything. And if you're playing Battlefront, please let me know if you're having fun with it or if you absolutely hate its guts. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like.